Marcus Chen stared at his evaluation scores displayed on the holographic interface, the blue digits floating mockingly in the air before him. Combat efficiency, 73-100. Strategic. Analysis, 68-100. Physical. Conditioning, 71-100. Leadership potential, 69-100. The off numbers painted a picture of mediocrity that had followed him through 3 years at the Galactic Defense Academy. Average, he muttered, echoing the word his instructors had branded him with since day one. Around him, the Academy's central hub buzzed with the usual mixture of species from across the Allied systems. Thrakari cadets with their 6 arms moved with fluid precision through combat drills. Zephyrian students floated effortlessly, their crystalline forms refracting light as they manipulated energy fields with their minds. The Corvan warriors, towering at nearly 3 meters tall, practiced formations that could crush starship hulls with their bare hands. And then there was Marcus, human, unremarkable, average. Commander Vexthul, a distinguished Thrakari with silver-striped carapace, approached with the measured gait of someone delivering routine disappointment. Cadet Chen, your scores remain consistent. Consistently average, Marcus replied, unable to keep the bitterness from his voice. The Academy values all cadets regardless of their individual capabilities. Your species brings unique perspectives to our alliance. The commander's tone carried the diplomatic polish of someone who had delivered similar consolations countless times. Marcus nodded mechanically. 300 species comprised the Allied systems, and humans were newcomers, barely 50 years since first contact. Most species excelled in specific areas. Thrakari with their multitasking abilities, Zephyrians with their energy manipulation, Corvans with their raw strength. Humans seemed to excel at nothing in particular. The announcement that echoed through the Academy's communication system changed everything. All final-year cadets report to Simulation Bay, Alpha. The Centennial Wargames will commence in 1 hour. The Centennial Wargames, a tradition held every 100 years where the Academy's brightest would face a scenario designed by the combined fleet's greatest strategic minds. The winner would graduate with immediate promotion to fleet commander rank, bypassing decades of traditional service. Marcus found himself assigned to Team 7, a collection of cadets that command had apparently written off as unlikely to advance far. His teammates included Zara Okonkwo, another human whose scores mirrored his own mediocrity, and 3 other average cadets from different species. The scenario materialized around them in the vast holographic chamber, a besieged star system with 3 inhabited worlds under attack by an unknown enemy force. The attacking fleet numbered in the thousands, employing tactics that seemed to adapt and evolve with each engagement. Previous teams had lasted an average of 47 minutes before their defenses collapsed entirely. "Orders, sir?" asked Zara, defaulting to Marcus as the de facto human representative. Marcus studied the tactical display, noting patterns that the sophisticated AI enemy employed. While other teams had focused on matching the enemy's technological superiority or attempting to outthink their adaptive strategies, something else caught his attention, something that made him smile for the first time in months. "They're fighting like machines," he said quietly. "Sir?" "The enemy AI. It's optimizing for efficiency, minimizing losses, maximizing tactical advantage. It's fighting the perfect war." Marcus began inputting commands into the tactical interface. But wars aren't won by perfect tactics. They're won by people willing to do the imperfect thing at the right moment. What happened next would be discussed in academy halls for generations. Instead of attempting to match the enemy's technical superiority, Marcus ordered his fleet to do something no previous team had tried. They began fighting illogically. Ships broke formation not for tactical advantage, but to rescue damaged vessels that should have been abandoned. Ground forces held positions that military doctrine deemed indefensible, not because they were strategic, but because civilians were trapped behind enemy lines. The AI enemy, programmed to predict and counter optimal strategic choices, found itself facing something it couldn't compute: human irrationality. A damaged cruiser, which every tactical manual said should have been evacuated, instead rammed directly into an enemy dreadnought's bridge. The move cost them the ship, but created a gap in enemy formation that shouldn't have existed. Marcus exploited that gap not with the textbook flanking maneuver, but with a desperate charge that should have failed. It worked. Cadet Chen's forces are, why are they winning? Commander Vexthul's 4 eyes focused intensely on the tactical display, as reports flooded in from the simulation chamber. For 6 hours, Team 7 held the star system. They lost ships, they lost ground. They made sacrificial plays that defied every principle of military strategy, and they kept winning. Not through superior firepower or brilliant tactics, but through sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat, when defeat was the logical choice. When the simulation finally ended, Marcus found himself staring at a tactical display that showed something unprecedented: total victory. Not survival, not strategic withdrawal, but complete elimination of the enemy force. The Academy's senior staff stood in stunned silence as the results were analyzed. The AI ran over 12 million tactical permutations, reported the Zephyrian technician, her crystalline form flickering with agitation. In every scenario, Cadet Chen's strategies should have resulted in defeat within the first 2 hours. And yet, Commander Vexthul observed, they achieved total victory in 6 hours and 17 minutes. How? The answer came from an unexpected source. Admiral Korthax, the Corvan warrior philosopher who designed the simulation's AI opponent. His massive frame filled the observation deck as he studied the battle recordings. The humans fought without logic, he rumbled, his voice carrying a note of something that might have been admiration. They made choices based not on optimal outcomes, but on principles that cannot be quantified. Honor, loyalty, hope. The AI could predict every tactical decision, but it could not predict the moment when rational beings choose to be irrational. Marcus stood at attention as the Academy's highest officials debated around him, but he wasn't listening to their analysis. He was thinking about his teammates, about Zara's decision to risk her entire squadron to save a single transport full of civilians, about the Thrakari cadet who held a choke point, not because it was strategically sound, but because his fallen comrade had asked him to. Average, he whispered to himself, finally understanding what the word had truly meant all along. Commander Vexthul approached, carrying the insignia of a fleet commander. Cadet Chen, or rather Commander Chen, the combined fleet has studied your tactics extensively. They want to know, how do we teach other cadets to think like humans? Marcus accepted the insignia, feeling its weight in his palm. With respect, sir, you can't teach someone to be human. But you can teach them that sometimes, being average in everything means you're not limited by being exceptional at one thing. We don't see the universe through the lens of our greatest strength. We see it as it actually is. As Marcus left the Academy for his first assignment as the youngest fleet commander in Alliance history, he carried with him a lesson that would reshape military doctrine across 300 worlds. Sometimes, the most dangerous opponent wasn't the one with the best strategy, the strongest weapons, or the most advanced technology. Sometimes it was the one too stubborn to know when they were beaten,